With Livelsberger's skills, his uncle suggested his nephew, and I quote, could have fashioned a bomb that could have obliterated half of the hotel if he seriously wanted to hurt others. Think of Oklahoma City, he said. McVeigh was just a normal soldier, not a tier one operator like Matt. What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure you follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. That is the most important thing you can do for me to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. Follow me on Telegram. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we have to go back to Trump Hotel in Las Vegas to discuss the Cybertruck Trump Hotel bomber, Matthew Livelsberger, because it appears now that we're getting confirmation, for what it's worth, right, that he was apparently and allegedly a Trump supporter. Now, this is something that I alluded to during my live stream this morning. I made reference to hearing that rumor, but I didn't know where it was coming from. Well, apparently it's coming from Matthew's uncle. But once again, before we even get into the direct quotes, it just doesn't really make sense given Matthew's actions that we're going to dive a little bit deeper in with new revelations that has come about. I want to go through this video here very quickly. I want to play for you guys and just look at here how we're going to see essentially Matthew casing the Trump Hotel. You know, he's casing the joint before actually setting off the explosive. I want to play this for you now. So let's get into this video here.
Yesterday morning, the truck was first spotted in Las Vegas at 7:29 a.m. yesterday. And Carlos will pull up a picture of the truck pulling onto Fashion Show Drive here. And that picture was observed at about 7:34 a.m. We know that he pulled into the Trump valet, and I believe we have a video of that. You can see the Cybertruck highlighted there. So through extensive surveillance video, we were able to track him leaving there, and we know that he went to several different places along Las Vegas Boulevard, and he spent some time in a parking lot of a business near Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard. We didn't have a video of the truck pulling back onto Las Vegas Boulevard from the Sands. See that there? That's north on the boulevard from Sands at 8:39, where he then immediately heads to the Trump Hotel, pulls into the valet area, and as of course you all know, the explosion occurs within 17 seconds of his arrival at the valet.
So the explosion occurred within 17 seconds of him pulling in again. Now, another fact that has emerged that many people might not be aware of yet is that, yes, obviously, you know, he did die in the explosion in the vehicle, and he was the only one that did pass away. But prior to setting off the explosives, he actually shot himself in the head. Let's get into that clip right now.
Now, further complicating this identification of this individual, we also discovered through the coroner's office that the individual had sustained a gunshot wound to the head prior to the detonation of the vehicle. One of the handguns was found at his feet inside of the vehicle.
Apparently, once again, this was a guy who, quote, loved Trump. A man that we can see here who cased a joint, right? To put it in those slang terms, he cased a joint, the Trump Hotel, pulled in and out of the valet once, pulled in again within 17 seconds. Obviously, first he detonated the explosives, which was, you know, a bunch of fireworks, gasoline, and, you know, lighter fluid. But he detonated the explosive, and before they can go off, he took his own self out. How this is a Trump supporter is beyond me, right? Because he clearly knew what he was doing, pulling into the Trump hotel to pull this act off. And most importantly and glaringly, he did it in a cyber truck. And we all know the connection, obviously, that Elon Musk has to Donald Trump. So this is all very strange, and none of it is making any sense. I find it very interesting that so far in the mainstream media press, even with the police investigation on the way, I'm not sure why they're not finding this relevant. But his wife, by the name of Sarah, was seemingly a Democrat for going off of her Facebook post. And she was always bashing Trump back in 2015, 2016 when he was running for president. She was an Obama fan, and just a Democrat overall. And obviously, it, it's not committing a crime to bash Trump. You can bash Biden online, you can bash Harris online, whatever your political affiliations are, that's fine. You want to make memes and make fun of these people, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I would think that to some degree that would be relevant and just worth bringing up, that she did frequently bash Trump. And then years later, right? Because 2016 to 2024, what are we looking at? 8 years, 8 years down the road, you have this man who is her husband that commits this heinous act, in which fortunately he only took his own life, right? This just doesn't really add up much. It doesn't add up much. And now what I want to do is get into the actual quotes from where this is coming from, of Matthew apparently and allegedly being a Trump supporter, which is a strange way to show your support, is going to the Trump hotel in Vegas and blowing yourself up in a Cybertruck, right? Now, this comes from the Independent, if I remember correctly. Yes, the Independent. Cybertruck blast suspect was a Rambo-type who loved Trump, family says. Let's dive into this as we round things out. So now his uncle's name is Dean Livelsberger, and he gave an interview to the Independent, which is where I'm reading from right now. And I quote, he used to have all patriotic stuff on Facebook. He was 100% loving the country. He continued, he loved Trump, and he was always a very, very patriotic soldier, a patriotic American. It's one of the reasons he was in special forces. So, for many years, excuse me, it was one of the reasons he was in special forces for so many years. It wasn't just a one tour duty. The article will continue to read as it pertains to quotes from his uncle Dean. And here's where things get interesting and fishy. Matt was a very skilled warrior, and he would be able to make, if it was him and he did this, he would have been able to make a more sophisticated explosive than using propane tanks and camping fuel. This is something that many people have been talking about. I have as well, like I did in the live stream this morning, which is why you should be subscribed to this channel. Given his military background, it makes zero sense that he chose to use fireworks, gasoline, and a bunch of lighter fluid to be his essentially explosive of choice, given his military background. It just doesn't make any sense for him to make that lousy and that fluky of an explosive. Once again, fireworks, multiple gas tanks, and multiple canisters of lighter fluid. It just doesn't add up. And as we can see here, when we continue to read further, it's not going to add up to his uncle either. He was what you might call a super soldier. If you ever read about the things he was awarded and the experiences he had, some of it doesn't make sense when he had the skills and ability to make something more, let's say, efficient. His skills were enormous from what he had been taught in the military. Very head scratching. Like I said, we're all scratching our heads to this fact and the reality that why would he do something this fluky and fugazi when he can create such a bigger explosive than this? And the article continues to read as such. With Livelsberger's skills, his uncle suggested his nephew, and I quote, could have fashioned a bomb that could have obliterated half of the hotel if he seriously wanted to hurt others. Think of Oklahoma City, he said, McVeigh was just a normal soldier, not a tier one operator like Matt. There is just so much here, ladies and gentlemen, that is not making sense and is not adding up with this story. I wish I can draw some sort of logical conclusion to what's happening here and what happened with this situation, but I can't. A lot of the stuff just isn't connecting properly. A lot of it just isn't making sense. And I just cannot see, fashion, or imagine how a man who did this and took his life prior to doing this is a Trump supporter. And once again, not to put blame on his wife as if his wife is somebody who should be taken and put in jail or something like that. But it does beg the question, right? You have to ask, why is no one talking about her? Why is no one bringing up the fact that she was very much so in 2015, 2016, going off of her Facebook post, she was very anti-Trump. Why is that just being tossed away as if it isn't relevant? You all let me know in the comment section below. Because with all that being said, that does it for today's news. So I want to thank you all for joining me today. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video out on your social media platforms. And also don't forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. The link to my Telegram is in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. And don't forget to follow me on Rumble. All links are down below. Peace and have a great evening.